claims everything is being expected to be straight. Looks like it seems John Wayne.
My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the show. Jack Chow on the show with East West with my friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, on the pandemic update, almost a daily pandemic information. This is Monday on the 13th of April. I believe there's lots of good signs of the past week that it is worth to talk about. So what do you have on your top of the list?
Well, there is a lot to talk about today, okay? I guess maybe one thing we'd like to do is celebrate that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of England, has been released from the hospital. He is home now, rebuilding his strength to get back to lead his country. And he has thanked the caregivers or the health workers for sort of saving his life. He had a couple days in there in intensive care, and he was never on a ventilator, but he did have oxygen in his nose. So anyway, he's back, and hallelujah, I like it. I like all these guys that are friendly to America. And he and President Trump are friends.
For a while, the whole world has been worried about him a lot.
It'd be bad.
It's very bad, very bad.
Yeah,
he's the European Trump.
Right, he is the European
the
Trump.
European Trump, right.
And we must remember also too that Prince Philip, had the virus. So even in the royal family, they've had their issues with it. So it has no partisanship to it. It just finds you can be rich or poor, Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, lucky him.
It likes you all equally.
It was at a point when lots of people worried. He was thought about almost to come onto a ventilator. He didn't, right?
Did not. Yes, fortunately.
He never come to on a ventilator.
No. Ventilators are not good.
Your ventilator is this is
a high death rate. Once you're on the ventilator.
Still lots of
risk.
But a friend of mine is a doctor. And according to him, that when you're once on a ventilator, your chances are less than 10%.
Well, it's life support, you know. So whatever the chances, I don't know, but it's a lot of people have passed away.
But he says once you're on a ventilator, your chances are less than 10%.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
All right.
That's not good.
Something. Finally, we have something good to talk about.
Yeah.
And on the American side, with the death toll still going up.
The death toll is still climbing a bit. However, I will say, 1 or 2 days ago, there was 800 dead in New York, and now it was 600 and something. So we're kind of for certain places in America, and it can change every day. Some are at the peak and are coming down in terms of the death toll.
Are we on the peak or after the peak or about to see the peak?
All of the above. It all depends what city you're in, what area in America. Now, the good thing, overall, we have more people being released from hospitals now than are going into the hospitals with new cases. That's important, because going in, less than coming out, and then going in 2 weeks, that's when you have your issues.
Let's talk about the major cities one by one. Let's say New York first.
New York,
for example.
So sad.
New York is still too bad.
It is bad, but it's probably at the peak. Because now, like I said, they have less deaths this last day than the last 2 days. So that's big. And also, of course, they said they need 40,000 ventilators. Well, they didn't need that. Everything has been expanded and exaggerated in terms of need. He said we'd need like 30,000 beds or something, or maybe 40,000 beds, and then all they had was 15,000 or something occupied. So all of these fear-mongering predictions have been way, way more than the reality as it evolves.
Yeah, one thing for sure one thing for sure that can be taken as a reference to judge the situation.
Right.
Remember, we have Mercy on the West Coast.
Right. No, this is big.
We have
We're gonna
Comfort on the East Coast.
Right.
Mercy and Comfort were designed in a way that they are taking regular folks,
Right.
right? Regular
And they'll
folks.
leave the COVID people in the hospital.
Leave the COVID people in the hospital.
Right.
Unless the pandemic goes out of control.
Out of control, right.
Everybody
Overflow.
needs a bed everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, everywhere, regardless.
Yeah.
So the fact they were never used that way
They weren't. Yeah. There was no need.
probably meant that we've never been that serious.
Well, President Trump brings both these ships to New York and Los Angeles. In New York, maybe there's 20 people on the boat now that are COVID guys. And there's empty spaces in the hospitals because there's not as many car wrecks, there's not as many elective surgeries. Now they're going to start doing elective surgeries again because we have healthcare workers where we say, wow, we've got a big shortage of healthcare workers, but a lot of them have been laid off because there's not enough medical stuff going on because the number of the virus cases and that hasn't been like overwhelming to overwhelm our hospitals.
And
It's wild.
Of course, on average, you have a daily job to do.
Yes, sir. Right.
You have a trauma care.
Right.
You have baby to be delivered, for example.
That's a
right?
good point. Yeah.
That's a big part.
That's a big
so
point.
I would say everything goes to one point that we should give a special thanks to our medical people.
Oh, without question. In a lot of cities, like at 5 o'clock, they'll all go outside and start clapping for the people. I just saw a bunch of fire engines that were aligned in honoring the medical workers, and they go in there. I mean, they're going to a battlefield.
And the light at night.
Yeah, it's a battlefield
right.
in the hospitals, and I certainly don't want to wear all the things they're wearing, all the protective gear they're wearing.
Yeah. If it is just a heavy duty job, of course, they go there, take it.
Right.
That's one heroic act already.
Yeah.
There's a heavy duty job with that danger.
Extra danger, yeah.
With a
extra
super high
risk.
danger.
Yeah.
Right.
But we're taking care of them, and I believe, we will get through this. America is not going to go under.
Yeah.
Now, and the only way, too, we can get through it is, we're kind of at war with this virus, and when we're at war, there are victims. But we can't let our economy be damaged so much.
Okay. How about California?
California's done well. The last I looked, which was yesterday, but of course everything changes, there was about 630 dead in California. And California somehow responded quickly, and also that even our governor, who I totally disapprove of, Gavin Newsom, radical leftist, he and Trump are friends now because he said, even when the media tries to get him to say bad things about our president, he says, the president, everything I've asked for, that he could come through with, he came through with on a very timely basis. He says, and President Trump said, I've talked to so many governors now, a lot of them are leftist governors, Democratic leftists, and he said, I would have never ever really known them very personally. Now, a lot of them are pretty nice, and I have new friends.
Yeah.
So
Not only did he do his job well, or has he done his job well, he has done his job in a very honest way.
Very
In a very
straightforward
honest
and
way.
transparent.
In a very honest way.
Yeah.
And he especially mentioned about remember 1 week ago, or 2 weeks ago, about his call for that we have a shortage of medical people.
Sure.
And that call was answered by
Thousands of retired.
25,000 at
Yeah,
least.
right.
Retired.
Right.
School
Doctors,
graduates,
nurses,
or
everything.
even in school.
Yeah.
Nurses or whatsoever. And they rushed in. They filled in the blank almost in no time.
They did.
And he made the right call.
That's what Americans do.
Yeah, he made the right call at the
Yeah.
right time. But
Yeah.
it takes a leader to make the call, though.
That's right. I just hate to think if we didn't have our
Yeah,
president.
really. Well, regardless of where it stands, politically left or right, but at the time of pandemic, he did his good job.
He's done a very, very nice job.
And the Los Angeles City, too.
Well, LA, now Los Angeles City, yeah, it's real interesting. We have Eric Garcetti as our mayor, and I think, I think the power that goes to some of these leaders, governors and mayors, goes to their head. They have power that even the Constitution doesn't give them quite often, and they're just thrusting it upon us. This is, like they're talking about, they've had drones following people to see if you're too close to somebody or something. They're really intruding upon our First Amendment rights of freedom of speech, freedom to assemble. Now, I agree, we have to do what we have to do to try to not communicate the disease if you have it. But this can't go on too long, or we'll lose the freedoms of our country.
I know.
It's the power sticks with people.
No, it's a different day. It's a different day. You're talking about your freedom, your right of freedom. Well, this time you have to stay home.
But Jack,
You have to stay your social distancing.
Jack, you kind of have to do some of that stuff, but they're exerting very controversial powers upon us.
No,
they are.
I will.
I really disagree.
There's
with
still room of discussion. There's a room of discussion, room of arguing, because what is the most outraged importance, right? The ultimate importance is that we want people to stay alive.
Well, we only have 0.66 death rate.
All right, my dear friend. Well, 0.6 is
It's low.
It depends. It depends who you belong to. You want to be one of the 0.66?
I volunteer. I do.
Nobody. Now, come on, that's a different story.
I do.
Let's not go beyond the the border. All right, my dear friends. Let's take a short moment out. We come back to continue to look at the economy. Next thing we got to worry is about our economy. Stay with us.
Le bijou icône Philippe Wolfers qui date de 1902. Il faut la regarder contre la lumière pour avoir toutes les couleurs de ce bijou qui est extraordinaire. Avec les opales, c'est un thème très à la mode, à la période Art Nouveau. On voit en argenterie, mais aussi en peinture. Et ça a à voir aussi quelque chose un peu symbolique. Une libellule, c'est très belle quand on la voit de loin, mais quand on l'approche, c'est comme un dragon en anglais. On dit un dragonfly.
C'est une des grandes figures de l'Art Nouveau. Et cette pièce, mieux que n'importe quelle autre, témoigne de sa virtuosité. L'opulence, le raffinement, les courbes et les couleurs, et puis le thème aussi, qui raconte une époque. Libellule a été réinterprétée, plus légère, mais c'est bien à son aïeul qu'elle fait référence, une pièce désormais accessible à tous, puisqu'elle est passée de la boutique au musée.
Paul James. I host English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow with my friend Ken Hemming. Not only a reliable friend, but a courageous fighter for the subject during the pandemic. It is not everybody that dares to come here to sit face to face with me. Well, we're about 6 feet,
We're
right?
fine. We're fine.
We're fine.
I'm clean.
Yeah, we're about 6 feet, and we did not even shake
No,
hands.
we're good.
We would do our elbow gratings.
We're good.
We're good. And there's a lot of guts. There's a lot of, I call this a courageous act, right?
I love my country.
So thank you very much for once again coming here to talk on the subject. So next thing is our economy.
Ooh.
Lots of people are worried. It is right now a situation, either you die of the pandemic
Right.
or you die of no food,
No food
of
without
no
a job.
economy, of no
Mental
job,
illness.
of no nothing,
Right.
of no nothing. So it is such a kind of a twisted situation that very hard for the leaders to make decisions. So do you think by what you look, I know you're an economist, your life, you have a better say about economy. When would be the time point for people to go back to work?
I would say yesterday. But now, so let me expand on that.
Seriously?
Okay? Well, look, here's the thing. One of our greatest economists of all time, a gentleman named Milton Friedman, totally famous gentleman. I watched from, say, 20 or 30 years ago, an interview with him. And what's happening, the way we're dealing with this right now, which may be necessary, is with our $2 trillion ability to continue to pay people to not work, which is in itself ridiculous, and then the other $4 trillion maybe for loans to the larger companies to keep them going.
You're talking right now?
Yeah, right now. Oh yeah, no, we got $6
Ridiculous
trillion.
to pay people not to work?
Well, yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
I don't agree. I
Well,
seriously
they are.
not agree.
No, they are because
But right now,
right
now, it is a necessary step to do. That's why we're home.
Maybe
That's
it
why
is.
we're home happy.
Well, we're not happy. Nobody's happy. Maybe it is, Jack. Maybe it isn't. But Milton Friedman, who is right when he says, what we're doing now, we're just printing money to do this, to infuse it into the economy to keep it from sinking too far, okay? But when you just print money, trillions of dollars, you just print money, that just puts more money, it devalues money, the value of each dollar, because there's more laying around, and that causes inflation. So we're going to have some decent, seriously, inflation in the foreseeable future. So we're better to suffer more. We're better to have a tax cut for payroll taxes where people can take home what they can when they're working. And there's a lot of people that are not working now that could safely be back at work. Now, I believe that's going to start in May again. I believe that's going to, in fact, I have right here a letter that says, Dear President Trump, I'm FedExing it to arrive at the White House tomorrow, because what we have now, in World War II, we had the leadership, and that's a war. We're in a war now. We had the leadership of Winston Churchill, who inspired England, and also Dwight Eisenhower, with terrible weather in the ocean, still had our people, 155,000, land in France on D-Day. So it takes the vision and the courage, and President Trump will have the courage. We're in a war. If our economy gets damaged too much, and it's damaged a lot right now, domestic abuse is up, people are depressed, alcohol sales are up 50%, all of these things. So we can't let a country just be stagnant. And yes, some people have died, but 40,000 died between October and the end of February of the regular flu. We've had 20-some thousand die in America now from this virus. It's not devastatingly fatal, less than 1%, 2/3%. Now, every life, including yours and mine and every one of your viewers, is priceless, priceless. You're born, your mommy loves you, and you die and people miss you. So it's beautiful. But so President Trump has the biggest decision he has to make right now, and I believe that he will make the right decision.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, let me say something. All right.
Yes,
now,
boss.
Nobody would say that printing extra money to take care of whatever the cash flow, to encourage people to stay home is good thing.
It's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah, it's economically bad.
However, in human life, there is always a moment you have to choose in between the worst and the still worst.
Well, war has victims.
The
We
worst-
are at war now.
The worst and the worst. How about that?
Yeah,
How about that?
the-
All right.
and the very
now,
worst.
Instead of getting lots of people get together to get contaminated, to get to get affected. So we'd rather take a poor step, take a step which is the second worst, to stay home. How for staying home, we need the bread, we need the milk. So there goes the money.
You need an economy.
All right. No.
Yeah.
That's in the long run. That's in the long run.
In the short run.
That's in the long run. All right. Now, suppose,
Yeah.
for example,
Okay.
all right, when I'm injured,
Right.
doctor says you have to cut this arm off
Right.
to stay
Okay.
alive.
Right.
I agree.
Okay.
Nobody would say Jack looks better with one arm only. I myself would not say that.
Okay.
However, I understand the situation. Either I die a man with both arms, or I
But also,
I live with one arm man.
but the president and most people understand the concept that the cure cannot be worse than the disease. In the economic damage is worse
I
than
do not agree. I don't.
I totally
Even if
agree.
later on to be proven to be not necessary.
You can't sacrifice the whole country for 20,000
No.
people.
I would say, I insist, even if later on it is proven to be not necessary, I still support what they do now.
But now that the trend is going, by the way, all of these models that these estimates were based on were massively wrong, massively pathetic. And
Because nobody had been there before.
well, it's all based on the assumptions. The assumptions
There's no
were
reference.
always
There's
worst
no reference.
case.
There's no reference to talk about.
Well, they've been doing models for different things
Nobody
forever.
Nobody had been in this size of a pandemic before.
Well, that's not true. There's been worse pandemics than this. This is not the world's worst pandemic at all. At all. Not even close.
So you're saying this is not?
It's not the world's worst pandemic.
Which one is the worse than this?
1917 was a lot worse than this,
No,
okay?
1917. 1917 was the one you look back now. You look back now.
Yeah.
All right? Because there was no measures, no what we do.
Well, it was worse.
And then the one that like this now, if we do not do what we do now, it's going to end up with the same or even worse. I think 1917, 1918.
We don't know that. The mortality rate in 1917-18, when we didn't do whatever we could try to do, was many times higher than this one.
No.
It was.
Then your president, Donald Trump, is not doing the right thing.
Well, he's going to do the right thing when we start putting people back to work. You can't have people
I
sitting
disagree,
home.
McCann. I said what the federal government has done so far has never
It's
been
okay so far.
Has never been so right.
Well, yes, we have.
Has never been so right.
Yes, we have.
All right.
We were more
So,
right in World War
all right,
II.
My dear audience, if you do not agree with me, you write to me. All right. And you write to
Yeah, write to me, too.
Yeah, you write to him too.
Yeah.
All right. And then you say Jack at edimedia.com.
Right.
You write to me. Tell my DJ at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Well, to say about your opinions. Right now, I say at this depth, with such a serious pandemic, and that's the only thing we can do.
Now, one other little piece I can add. I just read today, now I don't know how particularly perfect it is, but that Sweden and Brazil have not closed their economies down. And the trend of the virus is approximately the same as in the countries that have closed the virus down. So there's a question. What did we have? How much have we really accomplished? Now, they've been careful in keeping distances and that, but they kept their businesses open.
They have less commute.
What does it? We have no commute, Jack. Everybody's staying home. We have no commute.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is a commute that lead to the pandemic, right? Between China and the United States. Between China and the United States, I'm saying.
Okay, so
That's the most.
you're just saying they have
That's
less
the most.
people from China
That's the most
coming to their
frequently
countries.
traveled line.
Well,
Right? From China to Sweden.
Well,
you tell me that's the same frequency of traveling?
they have coronavirus in Sweden. It has got
Oh,
to
they
there.
will. They don't. Now they do.
but I'm saying-
but not as much.
Well, not,
I don't know where you are. You have been with agreement with me all
Jack,
the
Sweden's
all the
only
time.
got 5 million, 6 million, 7 million people.
Okay, my dear friend, my lovely audience, so let's take a moment out. We come back to continue arguing on this point. And we want to make sure that it is bad what we have. It is bad what we do, however necessary. All right, now, on the other hand, the economy, we'll talk about it when we come back, please.
Everything we have to continue to work on now.
My name is Paul James. I host the English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on the East West. We're arguing over one point. However, it is necessary to make clear that what we have done, even not good to the economy, everybody knows, but necessary. It is super necessary. Everybody, including myself, unless you're rich, you do not need the money, right? Would say that, oh yeah, that is the money we're in need of. Oh, by the way, the money has never been received yet.
No, not true. The IRS is shipping money out right now.
All right, anyway. All right, so now.
Starting this week.
Okay,
They are.
all right, okay, good. So I disagree your comment saying that this action is not necessary.
Well, would you let it go on for another year?
No, not only necessary, it is super necessary. I don't care about next year, all right?
You don't?
But right now, as long as it keeps people from dying, it is a good.
I care about
It
next
is a
year.
good way.
We're doing it for a certain point of time. By the way, we get to the end of April, that's 6 weeks. That's a long time.
You're talking
to
about the
kill
long run.
economy.
Did I give you an example by cutting my arm off?
No, because if the economy is damaged too much, it will take so long to recover that we will lose our position on planet Earth as the most vibrant economy.
But I survived
and the
as
strongest.
But I survived as a one man.
You know what? My life is not worth diminishing America's future.
No.
It's not.
No, you're exaggerating.
No,
Okay?
I'm not. I'm serious.
Now, the U.S. economy has enough resilience and is strong enough to overcome it.
Jack, we've already had over 16 million people that have filed for unemployment insurance. You multiply that by 2 for wives and whatever kids. There's 30, 35, 40 million people that really lost their mojo. They don't have jobs, and that's a huge. And there's only 20 million.
The jobs are
20,000 that
there.
have
The
died.
jobs are there.
There's nobody doing them.
The market are there.
Nobody doing them.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
Nobody doing them.
It
The
can't
markets are
last.
there. The jobs are there.
It
The
can't-
factories are there.
It can't last.
The manufacturers' plants are there, right?
Idle.
Once they're out, once the machine started rolling,
Right. And
Well,
it needs to start.
we'll pick up right away.
No. It doesn't pick up. Now, I think it will be vibrant because everybody's so hungry to get back and work and get their regular paychecks and feel like they have importance on planet Earth. You know, sitting home doing nothing, you have no importance. All you're doing is breathing, okay? You're not contributing to society. You're not contributing to the world. I feel pretty worthless.
Are we on
sitting
the
home.
same global Earth?
Mine has more sunshine.
Are you not from Mars or somewhere?
You know, when you
We
take
are
away
talking about
freedom,
on the global Earth when a country is so seriously hit, when a lot of people has died already, a lot of people are continuously dying.
20,000, Jack, so far.
Pardon me?
20,000 so
You're
far.
saying 20,000 is not a big number?
Well, out of 350 million people, it's
Then,
not a big number.
then go ahead and
Every
join.
person,
Then go ahead and join the 20,000.
every person.
Then you
is
don't
priceless.
belong here. You go ahead join the 20,000 happily.
The future of America.
Nobody has volunteered to be one of the 20,000.
Well, actually, they have the people, the doctors, and the healthcare people.
That's a different story.
They're
Don't
working.
mix it. Don't mix it.
Well, it's true.
Don't
They're
mix
voluntary.
it. Don't mix it.
for
That's a
the
different
risk.
story.
They're
That's
voluntary.
a different
for the
story.
risk.
I'm talking about we're trying to make sure we have as little people die as possible at this very
We
moment.
have done that.
Decision, yeah, sure. That's why I say what we have done is good.
Don't forget, our governor, who I totally disapprove of, but he predicted from his mouth, 56% of Californians would be infected with the virus. That's like 25 to 26 million people. It's not even close to reality.
Yeah, you want
it was
them,
the most
you want them,
ridiculous comment.
You want the 26 million people to die?
He was predicting, no, not to die. I said to be
Say this on the
infected.
street.
I said to
say
be
this on the
infected.
street. They will kill you.
I said to be infected, okay?
They say yeah. Okay, say it.
He's the one that said it, not me.
No. I mean,
He's the one.
when you comment that way, though, you drag yourself in it.
Jack, what
I
it is-
I totally disagree, my friend.
Here's what it is. Our radical leftists, okay, in the media, and let me just say,
Regardless left or right, life is a life.
well, I know that, but they don't care as much. They are willing to have many, many die if they can get rid of President Trump in the next election. They don't care
That's
about
another
the
issue. That's a
economy.
different issue.
Yeah, it's a big
on
one.
on the fight of pandemic.
Yeah.
We must use the same word. We must follow the same grammar rules.
But
all
they
right?
don't.
How about that?
But they don't.
What?
But the
Why?
radical left
they
and
do.
media don't.
So why you argue with me like this,
No,
my
no,
dear friend?
I'm not
I'm never
arguing.
prepared.
I'm not. That's good.
I feel so bad about it.
Jack, I'm not arguing. I'm saying that the cure cannot be worse than the disease.
I know the economy is
Period.
hit. I know the economy is hit. I know the economy is hit badly.
Yeah.
I know one-armed man is not as good as a man with both
Right
arms.
now our economy is
I
gonna
know that.
lose
but
one arm and
we
two
had no
legs.
choice. That was the choice. That was an option made at the time. We were having no choice.
In Brazil and Sweden did not make that same option, and their trend on a virus is kind of the same as the countries that have closed down. But anyway, the whole world can't stop. It will come back. It will start in May. That's what I
Okay,
believe.
it will start in May. I
will.
say when the machines start rolling again, when people start working again, our markets there, which has been trained for at least the past 10 years. The jobs are there. Who has been there for past 10 years?
See, like
That's why our economy was so high at the point before the pandemic.
See, right now I can see.
So
like-
the moment they go to work, the economy is back.
no,
I'm not
there's
saying
a delay. There's a big delay.
I'm not saying
not real time.
right away. I'm saying it will.
It will start coming
It
back.
WILL come
It will
back.
start coming back.
It
But
will-
see, like envision an
What's the
assembly line for a
difference?
card.
What's different between will and will start?
Timing.
I'm not.
Timing,
I'm
yeah.
not denying
That's the
timing.
difference, yeah.
I'm not denying timing.
Yeah.
I say it will come back.
See-
Will means a continuous tense in the future.
See, as an example, when you assemble a car,
No,
you
no,
know
no,
what
no.
an assembly line's like. Those people are 6 feet apart. If they needed to wear a mask, they could wear a mask and do their same work. So many of the manufacturing things, you're not all sitting right next to each other, hugging each other, doing the process. You know, they're spread, particularly in manufacturing, they're spread of people that, you know, most people are working six feet or less to their neighbor on the assembly line. So it's gonna happen. At least I predict now the president will start opening areas in the country. There's a lot of areas that have almost
Of course.
very few.
We're not
Well,
saying,
it's
I'm
time.
not saying we're closed forever.
No,
I'm
it's
not saying
time.
we're home forever.
We can't wait 3 or 4 more months.
We are opening up. We will open up. We are opening up bit by bit.
When do you think it will start?
I don't know.
I think it'll start in May.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think it'll start in May.
However, to deny what we do now is a mistake, is a big mistake.
I'm not-
Please take it back.
I'm not denying it, but I do think it's an
or
overreaction.
to criticize it.
I criticize the overestimation of the damage, which was partially
Right
political.
now, it's too early to say it is not over or not.
Well, actually, sure it is. They started at 2.2 million dead, 240,000,
No.
200,000.
I'm saying
now it's 60,000.
it's early
for
to
the
say if it was an overreaction yet so far.
Okay.
All right.
I think it
even
was.
if later will proven to
Yeah.
be overreaction,
Okay.
that's the price. That's the cost of living.
Okay.
That's the cost of surviving. Okay, my dear friends, let's take a short moment out. We come back to continue arguing. I'll scratch him. Right. Okay.
Everything is expected to straight. It's like it seems on
My name is called James. I host English news every morning.
and a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audiences. We are doing the pandemic update with my friend Ken Hemming. Was quite a while that we haven't been arguing this much. It indicates that things are getting better. We have energy to argue, right? Right. However, I do argue with him. I will continue arguing with him if what we are doing now gets criticized. It is a option taken when we had no other choice, right? Maybe later on proven, that's overreaction. We say, I'm sorry, nobody knew what was going on at that time. It was unprecedented. So we took overstretched action to protect ourselves, protect our people. Nothing wrong with that. All right?
As long as the cure is not worse than that disease, Jack. Now, let me throw some good news in for the economy.
Okay, good.
Well, within the last 24 hours, Russia, Saudi Arabia, America, and Mexico have come to an agreement to reduce the production of oil worldwide by about 9.7%.
How much is it? How much is it?
900, yeah. Well, they usually produce about 100 million barrels
No,
a day.
I mean
Yeah.
the price per barrel.
Oh, last I looked, $23.
22.
23. But right now, it
23.
might be 24 or 22 right now.
Oh, it's better now. A week ago
It was
19.
18 or 19, yeah. That's terrible. But so the thing is,
About 1/3 the price of bottled water.
Yeah. Well, the Saudis and the Russians got mad at each other. They got into a price war. and then it hurt them because, like Russia's, their primary source of revenue is oil revenue, and the Saudis
why would the United States, Russia, and Mexico got together?
Because we have a leader named President Trump, in that it was doing tremendous international damage to the economy to have this price war with Russia and the Saudis. And President Trump then got in between and negotiated something. And also then Mexico does about 400,000 barrels or whatever it is a day, and they didn't want to reduce it, to reduce their production, and then and that would have hurt the whole deal. And then President Trump said, well, maybe we'll try to reimburse you for which is a lot less than any of these other countries.
All right.
So he got Mexico to go along with it, and he got right. He's talking to the prince, of Saudi Arabia in Putin, and he made it happen.
Let me ask you a naive question.
Let
me ask you a naive question.
Yes,
I know it takes some kind of time lapse
Yeah.
to reflect, right?
Yes, sir.
To the gas pump. Right?
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. So, are you saying, or is it right to say that in this coming summer, somewhere we'll see
Lower.
cheaper price, lower price at the gas pump?
I can't say for sure, but we already are. I'm paying 50 or 60 cents less per gallon now than I did a month ago. So, it's at the pump right now. And what's happened, they've been producing so much, and of course with cars not driving like they were in all different, in less energy in oil and gas being used in manufacturing plants, we're not using what's being produced, and our national reserves are being filled up because we're buying it cheap, and that will help us in the future. That's really good.
Oh, by the way, not only that, the insurance company,
Yes.
such as the Farmers, Mercury, Allstate, or so ever those major insurance companies have made the decision to give about 20 or plus % of refund.
Of what? Refund of?
To the insured.
In other words, that refund some of the insurance fees?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that. That'd be
The
nice.
the premiums.
See, the big thing is companies have,
Which is by logic, which is right.
well, but it's also
Because
voluntary because the law
yeah.
doesn't force you to do that.
No, well, they are all doing that.
No, that's good because they're helping fight.
You're
the
staying
problem.
home. You
Yeah.
drive less.
Right.
So your chances of getting involved in an accident were less.
Now, do you think any of that will pass to me? That they'll reduce my insurance? I don't think a penny will.
It's a cross line.
It won't go to us.
Everybody everybody stays home. Everybody drives less.
Well,
And even in the less traffic situation, your chances of getting involved in an accident is reduced.
oh, it's been reduced.
So that's why there's a cross line of reduction
Yeah.
for the paid money that will be credited to your account.
But once we get back in action, that'll all just go away again.
Yeah, that will.
Which
that
I think will be
You
soon.
don't want to go forever. That the gasoline oil though.
Yeah.
I mean the gasoline price though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about with the time lapse.
It's down.
Are we saying that this summer that we will see a cheaper price than last summer before?
Probably. But a lot of things come into play in that. But probably right now, literally I'm paying 50, 60 cents less per gallon.
Can the oil company pocket the money?
No, they're losing money right now.
I know.
They're losing their
Yeah,
shirt.
they have a good reason to pocket the money.
Well, pocket what money? I'm not sure what you're saying.
But right now, right now at $19-20 per barrel for crude oil,
They're
right?
They're
charging us to say the money is same as before, or 60 pennies cheaper than before.
the whole issue about the price of oil. You've got to hope that you're going to be able to sell it for more than it costs you to find it and produce it and then develop it into saleable oil and gas. So Right now, everybody's losing money. Okay, so our energy independence. We're the #1 producer of oil and gas energy in the world now. We used, like in 1973, before you were born, we were totally 90-some% dependent on Saudi Arabia. It killed us. Long lines just to get gas. It was a horrible situation. It was. I lived through it. It was horrible. And
You mean the oil prices of the 70s?
there just wasn't enough to go around, and the Saudis were playing with us, and we had like hundreds of cars in line
about the
to
deal
get into a gas
about
station.
the deals among us, Russia, and Mexico.
Right now, it's good.
What does the Middle East say?
Well, Saudi is the Middle East.
Now I know what do they say? They joined the.
Well, they are. Yeah, OPEC has. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, whole OPEC.
Yeah. Well, the Saudis' production, which is most of OPEC. Okay, there's other countries in there, but yeah. So, but
They will hold their production.
they are going to decrease production about 9.7. About 13%. About. That's really big, but it's still not enough, because hopefully we get it up to. Maybe we need double that, because nobody's driving. I mean, all these things have a big impact. But the excitement I had today with bad news, on the other side of the freeway, there was a wreck, and I saw trucks again backed up for a mile, like the good old days of traffic. And I just smiled. Holy cow. I saw cars
Very
again.
good, very good, very good.
It was exciting, but somebody was hurt on the other side. Not good. But, we're going to see, Jack, because tomorrow President Trump has a lot of announcements for the opening the country again, a committee of about 40 people, made up of smart people.
How much have you heard about WHO?
I've heard enough that I don't like it. I don't like the leader of it. He's basically a pawn of China. They put in $4 million a year. We put in $400 million a year, and all he does is spit out whatever Chinese propaganda there is. And I would like to reduce or cease the funding. And they got to get rid of him.
What do you think Trump will do to WHO?
Well, they're studying the issue right now. And hasn't made a decision yet. But the guy that runs it is from Ethiopia, and he was in a radical terrorist organization, leftist organization in Ethiopia before, and he just absolutely is aligned with China. And they knew that the virus was commutable, from person to person, and he said it wasn't. So killed lots of people.
What do you think? What decision Trump will take once he decides to take decisions?
Well, he'll certainly say, you got to get rid of that guy. And he laid out things. You got to tell the truth from the future. They haven't been telling the truth. They've been lying to the world.
Yeah,
the World Health Organization.
There are two options. One is that to cut the supply, money supply.
I'd like to do
monetary
that.
supply to WHO.
Yeah.
And the second is that to create a new organization.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So, which one do you think is more likely to happen?
Well, I mean, if you cut it, then you can create a new organization. You're not going to create a new one and
Or
still be
both?
a member in there.
Or both?
Yeah, both, maybe. Yeah.
Cut and create one,
Yeah.
right? All right. Okay, my dear friend, I'm just asking.
Yeah, this
My
is
dear
good.
friends, lovely audiences, thank you for watching our show. And we will try everything, our best to bring information to you during the pandemic. And my appreciation goes to my dear friend, excuse me for that, goes to my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, who's been a great member of the community, a great fighter along the line with me. All right, thank you very much. We'll see you again.
Thank you.